We're live and on
There you go.
time. This is unusual for me, even though everything is going wrong. But I want to first my guests to introduce themselves and introduce their channel, please.
Oh, Paul from PABrewNews. Here I am.
Uh,
Here I am.
yeah. So yeah, I'm very unprepared for this stream tonight.
Good.
Not that there's anyone watching at the moment, but we'll get over that. Someone watch this sometime. I suppose, how do you come about starting a YouTube channel then? First questions.
Oh, okay. Well, my first YouTube channel was it's still up. Is Funeral Dust 666. It's my band's channel with all my different musical projects. So I got on YouTube doing that, and then of course I got into I don't even know how I did it, honestly. It was I'd have to say probably like the Urban Viking Ale review. He did black metal, that black metal stout from Jester King. So I would have to assume that's how I got onto the beer review side of things, because he did the black metal. Because back then it was, um, you know, uh, David the Urban Viking. It was Simon Real Ale, Peter Master of Hoppets. Rob Hopsine, Jason, Jameson Mockle, and Lee. Those are pretty much the mainstays for beer reviews back then.
Yeah.
I just started getting in, watching them, bored at work, of course, all night long. And then I really didn't drink beer. I didn't drink beer growing up. I drank beer twice. I stopped drinking it amazingly quickly. Just I learned how garbage it was, and I drink whiskey forever. But I was on a giant hiatus of not drinking anything for about 4 or 5 years. Then
Okay.
I got my second child, and I was like, you know what? I went through a lot of crap. I need a beer. So I started drinking. I went to German beer, so I Vorsteiner and stuff, because Germans make good beer. That's always I
Yeah.
remember that. So I was like, okay, I'll drink some German beer. I'm like, that's not bad. And I started getting into a lot of European stuff. So I went to a European beer fest in the Poconos here many years ago, and there was a stand there right at the end, and it old heathen, and I'm like, well, that sounds good. And I like darker beers. I didn't like bitterness and too much hops and all that stuff back then. And then I got
Okay.
this old heathen imperial stout from Weyerbacher, and I was like, it sounds German, right? Good. And I'm drinking it, and it's amazing. And I find out they're from Pennsylvania, and I'm like, Pennsylvania makes beer? Like, and what is this craft beer you're talking about? Like, it was the whole what? What was that what moment? And then I started looking into beer in Pennsylvania, and I found out there's this whole craft beer thing. I mean, this is over 10 years ago now. And then I realized, I was like, hey, um, nobody's talking about these beers. I didn't see too many people talking about these beers on the internet, even though I know there's people that review beer. So I was like, well, why not like a Pennsylvania beer? Because at first I didn't realize I was going to do so many or find so many. So I just was like, well, I'll just do like the first 100 videos will be PA centric, because all my first 100 videos were all Pennsylvania beers. And then it just
Yeah.
kind of blossomed from there, basically. That's
Yeah.
that's how it got going.
Yeah. So a roundabout way of kind of getting into it. I suppose a lot of people
Yeah.
do when they come to the craft. They look for different beers or look for beers on YouTube and reviews. See what's out there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, and I guess mine was just an accident. You know what I mean? Because I played black metal, and I just happened to find a weird beer review, and then it just spiraled out of control from there. Because I wasn't looking for beers, like I wasn't looking to see a review on a beer or anything like that. I didn't care about that because I wasn't even drinking at the time, and it just kind of just happened. It was weird. All the
Yeah.
pieces lined up in the puzzle.
Okay, to everyone who's watching, I explained to Paul before we started the chat or interview, I may have to just disappear during this interview for a little while. If I do, please ask Paul questions or keep him entertained in some way.
Yeah.
I suppose the second question I kind of ask people is this one, if you can read it on screen. good and bad points about YouTube or social media since it's
Good or bad
their
points?
channel.
No,
Yeah,
I was going to say, like, good or bad points about social media, and on my channel, or just in general, or both?
both.
Oh, both. I think the best thing about the best thing and the worst thing about social media is the same thing. It lets people express themselves, and but the only problem is it also gives a voice to every retard in the world. If you know what I mean, like it just lets everybody talk, no matter what they have to say. We also live in a world now where people are less informed, even though that we have all this plethora of information out there. People are more inclined to run with their heart, see a hashtag, a headline, and instead of actually researching it. So seems to be a lot of that out there right now for social media. So it is a good thing, but
Yeah,
it is an amazing thing to let people connect all over the world, because we're doing that right now on
yeah,
this stream. You know what I mean? So social media social media has definitely made the world a smaller place, because you can actually touch people from all over walks of life and the world. But again, there is it gives voice to everybody, and sometimes the things they say are just funny. There you go. And my
yeah,
channel, the the only problem is I'm on it. That's my problem. But other than that, everything's pretty hunky dory. The only thing I can say is with my channel compared to a lot of other social media channels and stuff like that, the quality's not up there. The HD and lights and all this stuff. No, nothing like
uh,
that. I haven't really cared too much to follow that train, so I'm just kind of doing what I do.
well, mine is the worst quality ever you could get. I got a desk lamp, but I think that's the most I'll invest for a light. I don't
Right.
even have it now. Yeah. What What do you think of then? Promotional channels who promote. That's what I think. Have you been offered products to promote, or what do you think of channels?
Oh no, I've never been offered anything like that. Um, you know, at first, you look at it kind of like you get kind of hmm, pissed off. I guess you'd say like, oh well, this guy gets free beer from breweries now and again, and I don't get anything, and this and this and this. But at the same time, well, maybe it's because you're not doing something right, or maybe because of where you live, you can't. Yeah, I lived in Pennsylvania for a long time. You couldn't ship stuff to Pennsylvania, alcohol and beer and whatnot, except so that might be a part of it, that kind of thing. Or maybe you just don't have enough subscribers, and that'll come with time. So I've never been approached by anything or anybody to promote anything, or I wouldn't say I wouldn't accept it, because I would. I'd accept free beer. Fuck yeah, tell everybody I got it for free. And if I didn't like it, I'd trash the living hell out of it, and that would be the last time I ever got free beer, probably. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is because you have to be brutally honest, and that's the
Yeah,
one thing I think about a lot of people who do get sponsorships or free beer regularly from people. I don't think they are very honest, because of the sometimes, not everybody, but sometimes you just see people and I go, you're just full of shit right now. You're just saying it because you got it for free, that kind of thing. You're not
yeah,
being as brutally honest as you would if you paid a bunch of money for it. So
yeah. If you pay the whatever $10 for that beer and the shipping, and you wouldn't you wouldn't rate it the highest that,
yeah,
and you
exactly.
probably the PR person that contacted you, or maybe the person in the brewery you get on, maybe you're on the same level that you talk to them, and then you're kind of friends.
Yeah.
If it's a small brewery and they contact you and you kind of chat to each other, something like that. I think friendship, sometimes you can see it in some. There's a
hmm
friendship there, and there's the.
Oh yeah, especially when you get into that side, like even like reviewing home brews and stuff, you're a little bit more lenient than if it was a commercial brew. Those kind
Yeah,
of like, well, the guy home brewed it for me, so it's pretty good, this and this. But if it was commercial brew, you'd probably be tearing it down, or this or
yeah.
that.
Well,
So
I suppose homebrew is different. I suppose if the person says, "Look, be brutally honest with me," maybe they say they're thinking of going for a job in the brewery or somewhere. I don't know how good my beer is. I want it proper. I want to know properly, but sure, people are all different.
hmm Mm-hmm.
Do you think everyone they say it? Do you think people hide that they get certain products from people?
I'm sure they do to a certain extent. I'm sure they do.
Hi, Shark. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Shark. Yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
do to a certain extent. One of the biggest things that a lot of people do. There was a couple channels that were rampant for this in the years back was and we'd make fun of it. It was one of those ones where you knew the channels back in the day, and you knew how to make fun of it, and you know when anyone was making, hey, what's up? Yeah, the Beer Patrol is exactly who I was going to talk about because he was one where he makes fun of the channels, and you exactly know who he's talking about as soon as he says it. Where there's a couple channels back in the day, especially that would have the beer already sitting next to them, and be like, all right, let's get a sample of this, and then he'd take one little tiny like just the wet the teeth right here, and they go, oh, I'm getting flavors of this and this and this and this, and they'd pontificate for an hour after one sip because he was like, well, most of the beer's already drank, but you're pretending like you're sipping it for the first time, and it's just facetious, like you're being an idiot. I don't know, and that was the thing that a lot of some of the beer channels did for a while. That was kind of where you're not being completely upfront, or you're not saying, yeah, I totally drank half this beer and it's the 16th time I've had it, but I'm going to act like I've never drank this before. They were doing that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, but it was funny, and it gave us something to talk about it.
Yeah, but most people are going to guess like you're not going to, from one sip, you're not going to get a whole lot, like
Yeah.
unless it's some random pale ale where you can kind of go, well, this is. You can say a lot of things because you say the same things or I tend to say the same things when you get to certain beers.
Oh no,
they're very
especially
similar.
now. Especially
Yeah.
now. I've never seen. I mean, this hazy IPA craze. I am getting so sick of saying, earthy pepperiness with a hint of tangerine and some mango flesh and a hint of grapefruit. Like I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to say that anymore. Like I'm just like, I don't like this. Yeah, it's
yeah,
good beer, but you're just so sick of it.
yeah. That's it. It's a well-made beer, but it's the same. You're probably just going to go on price or what the brewery is like. Maybe that's what I kind of do then.
The only nice thing about that is when if I say this and I say this and I say this, even if it might be the same thing, and if some brewers do this, some don't, then you read the tasting notes and it says a bunch of other shit. You're like, oh, I don't get that. And then you can talk about that. But other than that, yeah, those damn tasting notes. I know, Shark. Yeah, absolutely. They all taste the same. I mean, a lot of them do, and that's why you're saying the same thing. I got a slightly bready back from the wheat that's in there or the oats and blah 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 blah. And well, I hate the fact that people are still calling everything New England style IPA when they're not. I mean, those kind of things.
Yeah. What part of America then are you in? What part of America are you located?
I am in Pennsylvania, and that is on the northeast section of America. It is about. I think right now I'm probably about 4 hours away from New York City.
Okay.
4.5 hours if I drove, and then I would be 6.5 hours probably away from Boston, that area. But like, I'm closer to if you know the geographics of America, you got Canada, like you got Buffalo, Canada, right above me. I'm about 4 hours away from the Canadian border, and then 4 hours away from New York City. So just boop boop right in there.
So you're saying that you're living in one state and you couldn't get beer shipped to that state. Is there many states that have them restrictive laws, or what is America like?
There's a lot of states like that. I mean, there still are states like that, and we still have, depending on where you go in America, especially in the South and stuff. Mississippi has some, but we have dry counties where you're not allowed to have alcohol in them at all. I mean, we still have that. You know what I mean? It's all blue law stuff that came, the arcane laws that came from back in the day, and Puritanism and all this.
Country kind of.
Yeah, the Bible Belt. Like for instance, where I'm at right now is called Millville, and this is a Quaker the Puritan Quaker kind of place, and that's what it was founded by. So it technically has a dry law here. There's no alcohol here. That's why the beer place is right next to it in Iola, not Millville, and that's why, you know what I mean. Like it's surrounded by alcohol and pornography and sin and fornication. But you know what I mean. They pretend not to do it there, even though they're all raging alcoholics. So there you go. Shipping out of states can be hard, especially out of country too. I mean, that's where you really get the problems. You used to be able to get away with it. I've shipped a lot from Pennsylvania. I usually use antique bottles, stuff like that. Antique bottles, antique wine bottles, antique champagne bottles.
Yeah,
As
I
the
use
label. What they do a lot of times is they were using to ship to New Zealand and things like that for the SJ Pour Homebrew Challenge that we're doing back in the day. Well, they still do it, but I used to be part of it. They used to use shipping yeast samples. They used to put that on there, yeast samples, but of course that's not a thing you can do anymore. So they were getting stuff shipped back and held by customs, and you'd have to pay so much money after they found out it was beer. Shipping prices too is just through the roof. I mean, I've never seen prices like this for something, shipping one bottle for $20 when the bottle only costs $2.99. It's like, I don't know what the holy crap. So
yeah, you would have thought. I would have thought America would have been much more open, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just pack of used dildos, and nobody will open it then. Like, oh, it's like we'll just let it go through. Just let it go through.
Oh, they probably disease them the whole time. Customs are always want to get their hands on. How did COVID-19, I suppose we shouldn't mention, has affected the beer industry in America?
Now, it's affected the beer industry worldwide, America, a lot, but not here. Is what I'm going to say. Is what happens is a lot of brewing companies, of course, they in America that because I've talked to people and I've been around. I have traveled quite a bit since COVID hit. We've been taking trips and stuff the whole time, to a certain extent, more latter than early. But breweries having to shut down have had a major change where their distribution has changed, where they can get to stores instead of going to the brewery, or they opened up online shops where you can buy online now instead of having to go to the brewery or having to go to the store, which is a major game changer, where you can just order everything from the comfort of your bed in your nappy without actually having to get out and put clothes on and go into a disease-infested world. And that's a big deal. Now, Pennsylvania, you can actually order beer in from out of states and stuff, and they'll ship it to you, because craftshack.com I ordered $1,000 worth of beer like 2 years ago from craftshack.com, and it did come, and I did drink it all. So that has monumentally changed the game. I haven't seen the shelves inundated with different beer here so much like other places have. Other places in America have had a massive stocking of different, more rare to find breweries and beers, but I haven't seen it here. It's pretty much been just the same old kind of here, and everything's still 12 months out of date as soon as it hits the shelf, like it usually is in PA fresh. So, that kind of thing. The one thing about, what's that?
It wouldn't matter if it was an Imperial Stout or something like that.
No, but when it's a nice IPA or pale ale, it does make quite a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, that's the thing about PA that I do like, that you can go and find a fresh IPA that they just got in from 2013. You know what I mean? I like that, because you're like, well, fuck it, I don't have to age it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that, hey, that beer is pretty old. I'll just give you a discount. Yeah, you do that, buddy. But when you find a nice, I just got a zombie dust in, like a nice pale ale or whatever, and you're like, oh, it's 10 years old. Well, that's not good. You know what I mean? That's why you check your dates. And in PA, if you don't know the beer and it's an IPA or whatever, and there's no date on the can, best just pass it up. Just whoop, Unless you know it's a brand new release, just pass it up. It's those little tricks of the trade that you got to get fucked over and over and over again by buying bad beer before you learn that kind of stuff. So it's one of those things. But it has got better. And I think COVID, you could even say COVID is one of the things that is kind of forcing that to be better, because again, they have to push product onto the shelf that then normally people would just go to the brewery or buy or have different distribution. They have this inundated amount of beer that they have to push out to the market, and you can get different beer now. Because now Zombie Dust is something that I've just only heard of for so long, and now you can just buy 6-packs on the shelf. You know what I mean? Which is that's crazy. So there has been some positive change and some negative aspects. I mean, you have to look at the good and the bad and everything. Especially in this. Why are we in the car? Because the hooker I just picked up is in the trunk. And because my internet is really crappy at my house, and I wasn't sure I could stream. I probably could stream, but it would just probably be really, really pixelated and crappy. And I just kind of figured, I was like, I better just go into the since I'm actually doing an interview about me with Thomas and myself. I was like, well, I think they should know what I look like. That'd probably be a good thing. So I figured I'd get in some good internet. So supermarkets suck to buy local beers. Yes and no. There are some supermarkets where it's just ridiculous. You go to like Whole Foods, and the Whole Foods has a stupid beer selection. I was in Seattle quite a long while ago. I was in Seattle and Portland, and the beer everywhere was disgusting. Like Portland is a beer mecca. It was just ridiculous, the amount of like, oh, this place sells cell phones. Why do they have a beer selection? I don't understand. Like, that was, every store had a beer selection, and it was just nuts. But yeah, here there is kind of a dearth of fine quality craft beers. They are getting better. Here, the other thing too is Shark would be a little bit not used to this. Beers in Pennsylvania only just started being sold at grocery stores just a few years ago. Yeah, this is a new thing still. 2015, I think they actually started putting in my local area beers in grocery stores. So this is still something they've been working around, which is funny because only a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, that one store over where I used to work and get beer from, they just cleared off their shelves, because I knew they had beer from 2015 still sitting on their shelves in 2019. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny. So what they did was they did a closeout of all the beer section, but what the problem was, they put closeouts on everything. So all the fresh stuff that just came in still had closeouts. So I was buying 4-packs of like Backwood Bastards from Founders and KBS for like $4.99 a 4-pack. Like, okay, we'll just give you one. I mean, I put the kids in the car with a bunch of ice cream, and I just walked back and forth to the store like 5 times. I was like, here you go, here you go, here's some puppies, play with those. And because you could only take 192 ounces or something like that out of the store at once, so I had to keep walking back and forth. But it was worth it. You know, I filled the whole trunk up with beer for nothing. It's pretty good.
So much for a free America then, with these laws.
What's that?
Free America with the I thought America was meant to be free, but you have these restrictive laws.
Well, no, yeah, it just depends on where you live. And PA, the Commonwealth of PA, the greatest Commonwealth in the history of the world, Pennsylvania is the best. We do have a lot of arcane blue laws but now that's different. Now things are changing. That was the big thing for a long time, where you could only get beer in cases, and you had to go to a distribution center basically to get it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, for a long, long time, Canada was kind of the same way with the LCBOs. I mean, you could either go to the beer store or the LCBO, and that's it. Now, only recently did like Calgary and things like that, Alberta, start getting like privatization, bottle shops and things like that. So they don't want to admit it, because Canadians can never admit their problems, but they want to. They're going kind of through the same thing over the last couple decades too. So, but yeah, as the other states around PA have progressed, we're just that like fat kid in the tracksuit trying to keep up. Like they're sprinting ahead. We're like, hold on, guys, we'll get there. We'll get there. And so we're doing that. We'll probably be the last one to do a lot of things. I mean, as far as that goes. How much do I spend on beer a month, and what do you pick for your last meal? Um, are are we alone? Well, no.
I'll be back in a second.
I, now the beer per month thing is troubling. That's why I kind of want to stay away from it for a while because I am kind of broke. But I mean, it's not you know when I really see a big plethora of beer, especially in my local area where I'm not actually traveling to find beer. I mean, there's no it's not hard, especially because let's be honest here, the prices of craft beer, the price gouging element of craft beer is ridiculous, and a lot of beer, like other half, and I mean even like Cantillon and stuff, Cascade, Lost Abbey would be a good example. Port, those things, they they come with a very high price, and they just do. So you see, and of course, if you're buying something in singles, you're going to be paying more than in a 4-pack. You're going to pay more in a 4-pack than you do in a 6-pack. You're going to pay more in a 6-pack than you do in a case, and so on and so forth. So if you're literally trying to buy one bottle of or one can or bottle of each, and you go to a singles, you're going to pay $5. Let's say $3 to $7 a can, right? And you buy 16 cans. You know what I mean? Like, and there you go. So just one trip to the beer store in a week, you could spend $40 to $80. And let's just say that doesn't last you. So you go back and you find some more, and then there's another $40 to $80. So I mean, if you really do this hard and you're really drinking and you're really reviewing and you're really doing stuff like this, I mean, you need a second job just to fuel fuel your beer habit. And that's something that not just say craft drinkers, but or reviewers rather, but craft drinkers in general have to deal with, because you can't go get your 30-pack for $14.99. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You have to, $14.99 sometimes is a 4-pack. And the other half, $22.99 is a 4-pack. You know what I mean? Those that damn fruit to go the baby. So it does play a price point, and I mean, everyone has to live in their means, and that sometimes it's hard when you're trying to enjoy what you do. You're trying to enjoy life. You're trying to just relax with a beer. I mean, that beer just happened to be $27.99. You know what I mean? And God damn it, and you didn't get that raise this year, or blah blah blah. So that definitely is a huge. It is a huge problem when you want to do something and you don't. You want to get that new case of beer, this or this, and sometimes you do buy it, and then you go, oh crap, well, how am I supposed to? I mean, there's been a couple times where I go, wow, I have all this nice beer, no food though. I guess I'm just gonna eat beer. There you go. So, and that is kind of the poo-poo side of wanting to do this all the time and wanting to enjoy good things. That's why I'm kind of for the stomach too, because I'm enormously huge. So I want to try to get that taken care of a little bit. I do need to start exercising. I do have memberships to gyms, but I need to go to them to actually exercise. That's how the gyms work. But the problem is, since COVID, everything's narrowed down. See, the biggest, he wants me to talk anyway, so I'll keep talking. The biggest, kind of contradiction in the whole COVID thing, because we talked about COVID earlier, is they want people to spread out. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I don't like people anyway. Fuck you. You know what I mean? And all the, unessentials, that just shows you that you really are unessential because the world kept turning. So just go away and jump off a cliff. But what they did was they used this COVID mentality to basically just screw local businesses over. And because the big businesses, I don't know if you noticed this, is still running true, fine and true, but most small businesses went out of business. But they shut down some companies and then restricted hours for others. Well, if you want people to spread out and not be next to each other, you don't make everybody go to the store at the same fucking time. Or am I wrong? I don't know. Because let's just use the example that everybody I think can understand or know is Walmart. Let's look at Walmart. 24/7. Perfect. I have done more shopping at night because Giant was 24/7. Weiss Markets here was 24/7. I have done more shopping at 3 a.m. with nobody around me. That's how I do it. Now, you don't do it at 5 p.m. where everybody's there. But no, we have to condense the hours. So my shopping at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. is shopping with everybody else. And then that defeats the purpose of spreading out. And then it also makes a bottleneck at your door because you can only let so many people in, which is complete horseshit. So that's ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons why I don't, hey, what's up, Drunken One? How you doing? And that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone to the gym, because everybody wants to go to the gym right when they drop their kids off at school. And I just can't do crowds of people because I freak out. Start sweating. So there you go. Oh, hey, cheers, Rob. Cheers, Rod. How you doing?
All right. How you doing? Okay.
Don't worry. I talk. I can talk. I'll talk like a motherfucker.
I can't. So we'll go for last meal then.
Oh yeah, we talked about how much I spend in a month, and what would you pick for your last meal? I would. Let's see. I think if I was dealing with a last meal, it wouldn't be what I ate; it would be who I ate. I think that would be the last meal for me. That was like, oh, all right, let's go. Who that would be at the time? I was gonna say Sarah Brightman's she's getting up there in age, so I might have to pick somebody else because she was my crush growing up. So, yeah, we'll have to. That might be that pick might be a little bit. It might change during the time period in which I get asked. Let's just say that one. But yeah, I'll probably say screw the thick steak and pick a girl to eat for my last meal. But and then are we alone? Of course not. Big Brother's always watching. So there you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
So what about aliens then?
Oh, of course. Here it's probably I mean, a long time ago they did scientific. They kind of those one scientist basically did the whole. It's like it's problematically impossible that we're not the only people in the universe. It's problematically impossible. You know what I mean? Like, and they did recently find bacteria on an asteroid, and I know it's not ET phone home, put a prod up your ass, but it's still life in the universe. So there you go. Even if it's a single-celled organism, that's how all life starts. So there you go.
Okay.
I don't need an order to hurt somebody. And would you help someone in trouble? I do that constantly. So yes, I would be the worst and best superhero. And because the problem is, I would see. Let's see. I'm driving down the road in my car thing that I have here, and you see a bus going off the road. Oh my God! And I superhero my ass over there, and I save the bus. But at the same time, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm driving out the road, and the kids in the back of the bus are giving me the middle finger, I will use my superhero powers to throw the bus off the cliff. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm a really bad superhero. Like, that would just not be the thing. I just always remember the time that in the Spider-Man movie, Peter Parker went in there and he was trying to get hors d'oeuvres off the plates, and someone always took them and always took them and always took them. I would just Spider-Man my ass all over and whip everyone around and just beat the shit out of the whole room and take all the hors d'oeuvres and eat them in front of them. And that's the thing, is I would be a really bad superhero.
So last question.
Okay.
Last question. Can you read it? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the next question.
Okay. I just see the would you obey thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess if you're in the military, you have to obey orders no matter what it is. I mean, so I'm not military. I'm not in the military, but there you go.
Yeah. So would you say if I had one of you said they're children. So say I have one of your children, I said I'm going to kill him unless you kill someone else. Would you obey that order?
I would blow. I would definitely blow anyone's head off for my kid, and then I would blow your head off afterwards. So there you go.
Okay.
I mean, like it
Well,
was one of those ones, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, let's look at it realistically. I mean, it depends on what we're talking about. We say like, oh, well, you want to hurt somebody? I'll give somebody a rug burn like you wouldn't believe. Like, and no, I mean, like, there you go. But purple nurple. If say, oh, you better hurt somebody or I'm gonna kill your kids. Well, I'll purple nurple the shit out of somebody. Like, well, technically, I hurt them. Be like, wow, did you wear those shoes today? They're ugly as hell. That technically hurt them. That's okay. That'll count.
um, would you
Depends on the level
steal?
of hurt.
And the
Steal.
last
No,
part of the
stealing is
question, would you steal?
stealing. Stealing and vandalism are very not nice things. I don't think personally.
Okay, so
Now,
I
now
put this
are we
sort of
talking? Are we talking about like Les Miserables? Are we talking about that kind of steal to survive
no,
kind of deal?
we're
Or
talking you're hungry, your children hungry, you're in the supermarket, you're at the discount food place, the food is about to be thrown out. The
Mhm.
people in the store don't care, they're getting paid $3 an hour and they
Yeah.
steal
Oh
the
no,
food
I get
anyway.
it. Yeah. Well, this is one of those ones I think would have to say that if I was in the state, like for instance, if you were in the middle of a city
Yeah.
and for some reason those rats are just a little bit too fast to catch that day. Um, uh, I guess it's one of those ones where if you were gonna, well, it all humanity and civilization is a very fine line, and it is something that is frail. It's almost like a creme brulee, where it's that hard, like kind of crusty top before it gets all that ooey gooey and the stuff in the bottom. And I think that's where we live. Um, and the thing is, when society breaks down, when food is short or power goes out, and you'll notice that civilization and society are very, very fine, fragile things because that's exactly what happens. Is people just go animalistic and they will hurt and kill and rob and murder for whatever they can get because they feel their lives are in danger of them, and people do that. Um, so what I would say is the best thing you can do is not put yourself in that situation. Like if I don't have any food, I live in the country. I just get food. I'll make my own food. I'll go fishing. I'll shoot something. That kind of deal. But I guess when you're put against the grindstone, you as a human, you're an animal. We're all animals. We have the instinctual extinctual. I can't use words today. We have instincts to survive. That's what we do, and we will do whatever we can to perpetuate our own lives because that's animal nature. So we will do stuff like that. Yeah. And I am not a part. I'm a horrible individual anyway. So I will never say that I won't do anything bad because I probably will. So there you go. I will not be a pious man on the internet. I will tell you how it is.
Okay. Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
interesting. Interesting answer.
Hmm.
You're certainly different from some other people. Some other people take the questions differently.
Yeah. No, I think you have to look at it more philosophy, kind of like if you really look at the framework of society and how we're built as a creature of habit. We're going to do stuff when we need to. There was a study of, I mean, I don't know why people want to study this stuff, but people do bad stuff in studies where they, yeah, this is disturbing, but I'll say it anyway. They put a chimp and her babies in a room and they heated the floor up and they stopped before anything got bad. But I mean, it was bad, but they stopped before anything died. But they started heating the floor up, right? So
Yeah.
what they would do, the mom would take the babies and pick them up in the air because the floor was hot. But by the time the floor got too hot, she put the babies on the ground and stood on the babies because she has to save herself. It's kind of like that weird, you know what I mean. So we have an instinct to survive. What's your favorite kind of food to cook or eat? What's your go-to dish? What do you usually have for breakfast? Well, I will tell you steak, 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 steak. I like a big, huge. I like chuck steaks, but I like a good Delmonico rib roast. I like steak. Steak is a thing that just makes me happy. My favorite meal growing up was actually uh, if you just the big baked potato, corn, and a huge steak cooked for 30 seconds on each side. So it's like I like my steak like I like my women, cold and purple. That's what I like. But the the one meal that I grew up loving, and my kids love it now too. A fireman showed my mom this back in the day when we didn't have any money for food, basically, and it was you take a can of Spam, you cut it up, dice it up, and you put American cheese, white American cheese, just plain Jane American cheese all over it. And you put pepper all over it, so it's salty cheese, pepper. Okay, that's good. You boil up noodles, just macaroni noodles. You throw that in there with a little butter and milk, stir it around. And it's basically like on the top of a stove, kind of like Spam and cheese casserole. And
Yeah.
I still make that to this day, and I love it, and my kids love it. The problem is when I make it, I'll eat enough where I'm physically ill. That's the problem, is I just can't stop eating it. So between Spam and cheese and a beautiful steak dinner, those are my two loves of food. I don't usually try to eat too much candy anymore, but I will open up a pack of peanut M&Ms and peanut butter M&Ms and just throw them in my mouth at the same time and keep chewing because I'm a pig. But there you go. That's the rare occasion, but I do it. I used to love Snickers growing up, but they became so tiny little things. I mean,
Yeah.
a small Snickers or a Mars bar, I haven't had one of those in years, but they used to be bigger, and they just get smaller and smaller, and the price just keeps going up and up.
Yeah.
Would you be a good eyewitness to a crime? I'd usually be the one doing it, so I'd probably be a good eyewitness. Favorite kind of music? Now, yeah. Can you play instruments? I would be. I mean, I think with all walks of life, don't lie, just tell it like it is. So if you see something, you just say what you saw. Um, don't sugarcoat it. Kind of be like that Dragnet guy with just the facts, ma'am. Be like that. And then, yeah, I don't say I play instruments because I am horrible at everything I do. Some people are a master of one thing. I do everything adequately, but I do lots of things. You know what I mean? So I, do
You're
the
a jack of all trades.
yeah, jack of all trades,
And
basically.
master of none.
The master of none, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, anything from native flutes to drums to keyboards, guitars to bass to what I mean. I kind of just I play with stuff. I meddle with it. I finger it. There you go. And if
So
something nice comes out of it, there you go.
what's your go-to music then? Are you
My favorite, well, I play basically old school second generation Black Death metal is what I do. That's my thing. That's my go-to. It's what kind of like sparks the soul. You know what I mean? Like that fire that burns within you. That it connects. It's just Black Death metal, Dark Throne, Burzum, Immortal, Nocturnal Mortem, that kind of stuff like that. I'm into that. Of course, Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under, Baphomet. I mean, just Merciful Fate, stuff like that. I love that. You can hear it in my beer reviews too, because I play most of it in the background. Just
yeah.
uh,
Definition.
Black Death, thrash metal, that kind of stuff. Hi, Kitty. What's up? I don't play. I'm not into like new stuff. One of the reasons why I started Funeral Dust is because obviously being in a rural area, you couldn't get a lot of things, and this was before the internet days. I just couldn't find any new music, and I got so bored. I just started making music from me that I wanted to listen to. Sounds a little narcissistic, but I just basically said I can't find any new music. I'll just make my own music and listen to that. Fuck it. That's how it kind of started.
So then, if there was one band that you could go back and attend a concert to, who would it be?
I would do Typo Negative just to see Peter again, because Typo Negative back in the day is not Black Death metal, as most people know, but he is, and they consider it metal, even though nobody sounds like Typo Negative, but Typo Negative. I watched them a lot. Probably the most concerts I've ever seen was with Typo Negative. And it would just be amazing just to see Peter again up on stage, healthy Peter. So it would be Peter seeing, because I watched him Typo Negative Carnivore. The only band I would say that it would be really cool to go see them live that I've never seen live, because they just don't do live shows, but back in the day would be just to transport myself now back into like the late 80s, 1990 area, would to see like Dark Throne play live. That would be really cool. And it would be just to be able to get there before. It would always be cool to get to see a band before that now and you love, before they got famous. So you could give them adoration that they needed then, before they became famous. You know what I mean? So that would be cool. What's up,
Sarah.
Square Table?
Thanks. Sorry. Yeah, and
I like how you're putting the questions up there so I can read them. That's nice.
yeah.
That way I can look back and go, what was I talking about? Oh, that's what I was talking about.
I suppose then, if you go back into any time period, if I had a time machine, what kind of era would you like to be living in?
I would go back to the 60s to have lots of sex with very smelly, hairy women. But
Okay.
that would be, it's one of those ones, like, it's a great question too, because it's one of those ones where if you really look at it, you wouldn't go back, but you could romanticize. I think that's a romanticized question. It's like, oh, I'd like to see this, or I'd like to see that, I'd like to see this. But when you got there, you'd be like, get me the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? It's one of those, because like, there's no air conditioning. Fuck this. I mean, it's one of those kind of deals. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to the early 70s, but a problem is, depending on who you are and where you are in the world, you're going to have to go to Vietnam, and I'm not into that. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of deals. So if you really looked at it, like, for instance, I would love to be where I could have been involved with making, like, same thing. When you want to go back in the day and see the bands that you really appreciated and give them support, you want to go back in the day so you could help make some of the films that I love watching, all my horror films and stuff. I go back to the early 70s, start helping. Oh, I'll totally help you make Texas Chainsaw, or I'll help you make this, or I'll help you make that. But being in that generation where the music was good, the films were awesome, no air conditioning, and the beer sucks. And I don't do drugs. So I mean, there's nothing for me except for hopefully slutty babes and good music. So, I mean, other than that, that's all. Being in, like, for instance, we were talking about this, my friends and I were talking about, like, being like, back in the really kind of slight early 80s when, like, the, Sisters of Mercy and Bauhaus was still playing, black metal was just getting going in that kind of genre, because it would be cool to be like in the cities and in the bars and stuff, seeing all these people play. I think probably the early 80s would be the most comfortable area for me to be in, because it would be more similar, like, you'd understand it, because I grew up in the 80s, so I kind of understand it, but you still have, like, common amenable things like, air conditioning and stuff. And I say about air conditioning a lot because I don't like fucking heat at all. Anything over 65 degrees, I'm pissed off. You know what I mean? So there you go. So, but yeah, something like, I think if you look at realistically, I think probably like early 80s, but still it sucked then too. Gas rationing. I mean, people were only getting paid like $1.50 an hour, $2 an hour, so it was still rough. But I think a lot of people right now in the last 2 generations or 2 decades or whatever are pretty privileged and should appreciate where they live now for what they have, depending on where you live in the world.
Okay, then if I put you in front of your 16-year-old self, what advice would you give him?
Pay the fuck attention in school and stop chasing women, you dumb fuck. Because I have wasted more money handing it to women than you would ever fucking believe. It is amazing. I was one of those dumb romantics where I was always trying to get married and have 2 kids and a fucking house and all this stuff. It was one of those ones. Because the weirdest thing is, metalheads are surprisingly romantic, especially if you listen to Typo Negative a lot. But one definitely would be like, actually pay the fuck attention in school and try to maybe, because we had the option of either I went to college or my sister went to college. She went to college because I went to a trade school to learn electricity and stuff. But yeah, pay more attention. Actually here's the thing is, you know what would be a great line for me to tell my 16-year-old self? You actually are going to live past 21, so pay the fuck attention and straighten your shit out. Because we just all assumed we were all going to die at 21, so we didn't give a fuck. Well, guess what? I'm almost 40. You know what I mean? So I would have really wished I paid attention. See, I didn't even start drinking, though, until I was 22. And that was definitely something I wish. I love the people that I met because of my brew channel, but for like health-wise and stuff like that and money-wise, drinking's not the greatest thing in the world to be doing. Probably, so that would be something else. Luckily, I didn't go down any other vice holes, but yeah. Stop throwing all your money to women and pay attention in school.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next question should be easy to answer then. If it comes up,
Nature or nurture? Nature or nurture? Perfect day. Who is your hero? What would you sing at karaoke? Okay, nature or nurture? I guess what you say is that you're either an asshole by nature, or is it your upbringing? I guess. That's where you get convoluted too, because a lot of people want to say they're pious, this and this, and big Christians and things like that. And I've seen all their kids become massive heroin addicts because they don't know how to deal with anything, and you can't talk to your parents about stuff. You know what I mean? So it has to. We're all self-responsible for our own actions. I mean, it's a little bit of that, but I was blessed of having a very good good parents, where they were just like open and honest with you, like just deal with, like, I wasn't forced to do anything. I wasn't forced into a religion. I wasn't forced into this and forced into that. Make up your own mind, see what it is. Try to do that with my kids now too, giving them all the facts and let them do it. But they were stay together, you know what I mean? So I think it's a little. I think everybody's answer at the end of the day was probably a little bit of both, but we definitely need to have self-responsibility for our own actions and understand that there are reprisals for being a douchebag. My perfect day is a day, I wanted to say, where nobody bothers me and I get drunk and go back to bed. But what was my perfect day? My perfect day. What is your perfect Sunday? What was my perfect day? I think it was one of those ones where you actually get up early and you actually go out and you have a big breakfast and you just cruise around and waste a whole bunch of gas driving in the mountains and having a good day and having a good meal afterwards, and nobody fucks with you. You forget your cell phone at your house, that kind of thing, where you just enjoy the outdoors. Like a perfect. I would always love that. It's coming up here October 1st. We always went up and just hiked in the woods all day because it was October. It was nice. That's a perfect day. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And you can't say it's Halloween every day, because you know what? You have to have non-Halloween days to appreciate Halloween. But so yeah, just a perfect day would just be just wasting a bunch of gas in a truck with money in your pocket to eat well and just enjoy nature and the world around you. And who is your hero? My hero growing up. Well, I have two heroes. My father, obviously, because you have to look up to your dad if he's not a piece of shit, and mine wasn't. And Steve Irwin actually was my biggest hero growing up. I still remember in 1992 just waiting for that first episode, just seeing these commercials and then just falling in love with the guy. You know what I mean? His passion, his conservative, nature and this and that. And I was devastated when he died. People knew it so much when he passed away that people were actually calling my house, and this is the day before cell phones and stuff. People were actually calling my house that I didn't even knew I liked that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, knew I liked him and stuff. And they're like, "Hey, are you all right? Are you okay?" I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good. Just let me sleep. That was one of those. But it was really nice that people were coming out and saying, "How are you okay?" That kind of thing. Obviously, it was mincemeat compared to the problems they were actually having with him passing away. But like, yeah, he was definitely a big hero for me. And what would I sing at karaoke? One, I never do karaoke ever. Like, I could play in a black metal band on stage. I've done that before, but I don't think I could do karaoke. What I would like to do in karaoke, honestly, is classical opera. I love singing classical opera music. So Nessu Dorma, Sogno, was that Ellen? Was that Eliste? Was that El Luce? Was it Lucha?
Yeah,
Elistele? Yeah, that stuff like that. Like, I'm into that. I like doing that stuff.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, nature created us and nurture teaches us. There you go.
very wise from Vanessa.
Yeah, long rides in various places is always a good time. Just waste gas fill the truck up and just go to the town. I lost the keys to my truck, so I got to find them because I'm pretty pissed off. Go Browns!
I have no idea. Browns. Guessing
and Jay Leno. Well, he's always he's always a happy-go-lucky guy with fast cars and louche women. So there you go. That's good.
That's cool. Really is cool.
The Saints. There you go. I don't understand sports, so no karaoke for me. No, I'm not into it, man. I don't know.
We'll have to get you karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sing better in a chorus. There you go. Well, the chorus you don't have to sing. You just mouth it, and everyone else sings for you. That's the nice thing.
Okay.
As long as you look like you're singing. Okay, lowest point in your life. What makes you really angry, and do you wake up happy or sad? Every moment I'm not pretending I'm dead, I'm sad. So there you go. The lowest point in my life was, actually, the lowest point that I actually had where the shotgun was in the mouth a few times was that moment where I got divorced, right? Got divorced. Sucked. Never want to get divorced. It is what it is. Get divorced. What was it? What happened? Divorced happened, and I was at my job, which I had for 10 years too. And something happened at the job. It really wasn't my fault, but they blamed me on it, suspended me. I thought I was losing my job. And the person that I was trying to like basically talk to get my mind off stuff was kind of like she kind of fucked off for a while.
Okay.
And because you're always trying to cling on something else when you're going through other things, to get your mind off.
Yeah.
So I remember this too. I got the flu on my birthday, and I was alone in my house with the flu also, and nobody would come over, and I was hungry and I didn't have any food in the house, and my mom, because she would just fuck with me, called me from the house and was making fun of me at my birthday party at a restaurant with everybody there and going, yeah, we're having a great time. Sucks you're sick. Too bad. Ha ha. And I'm like, I was like, you didn't bring me some food? No, fuck you. I'm not getting sick. And it was just like one of those really like everything kind of come together. And that was a pretty bad moment at that point in time. Like everything I had for the last decade was crumbling. Thought I was going to lose my house, this and that, all this stuff. But you know what? It's the weirdest thing is all that shit doesn't mean anything. And you don't know it then. You don't know it at the time, but none of that stuff means anything. You're a house, you can get another house. A job, you can get another job. A car, you can get another car. A girl, you can get another girl, technically. Or a boy, you can get another boy. You can get whatever you want. It's just, as long as you keep going, you can do shit. You just never give up. Never surrender.
You're only here once.
Yeah. It's what they say. It's like, you only live once. And no, you live every day. You only die once. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of deals. So, and it was, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's just grab a beer and just get out. And when I wake up, I don't wake up anything when I wake up. I don't wake up happy or sad. I wake up like a zombie. I go, coffee. Where's coffee at? And then I go, okay, I'm awake. Let's do whatever we got to do. Yeah, it's one of those. I carry spare keys always. Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know where my fucking keys are. Actually, here's my work keys are right here too, and I lost the goddamn key to my toolbox at work too. So I'm all fucking pissed off because I'm losing all these goddamn keys for some reason. I got a key gnome in my house. He's stealing shit. Fall nights, yeah. You sleep the amount of get day, yeah. Insomnia. Oh, I acted like I was a kid getting ready for the prom to get on this channel today. I couldn't sleep. I was rolling around. I was getting all excited. Yeah. I actually brushed my teeth today. Wow. Look at that. Yeah.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Paul.
We appreciate it.
Hey, in retrospect, my divorce was the only reasonable way forward. It's one of those ones. It is reasonable, and it was a very abusive thing to be in, and it sucked. Not physically, but mentally. But at the same time, you love somebody, you have kids with somebody, and you just sometimes that doesn't just go away. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that sucks. That you want to get back into that. But at the same time, there's a good reason why you got out of that. So there you go. Smash that like button, Holmes. Dog. And there's Paul. And there's Square. There's Shark. Yeah. And it's good you're putting comments
up.
Minty fresh, baby. I use toothpaste too. I went full scale. I just didn't use stale water. Let's see.
So
you only see the reasonable. Being reasonable is not something you do at the moment. That is way later. That is way later.
So, how many children do you have then? You said you had children, if I can
I
ask.
have two girls. Morgan and Rowan. Rowan Nadine and Morgan Celine. And one's 11, and one will soon be 13. I'll have a fucking teenager to deal with, so that's good. Yeah,
Teenager.
that'll be a good time. Yeah,
What comes
and
next then?
Rowan unfortunately was with her mom out on her birthday at a skating rink and she fell and her mom couldn't catch her or whatever, and she broke her damn arm. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. I'm trying to pay all these damn couple $1,000s worth of bills for a broken arm. Good times. Good times, But kids do that. That's what kids do. That's part of being a kid. Break something. Have a good time.
Yeah, and you wonder if you kind of had a free medical system, what that would do. But we all mention things like
It's really not. It's really not that bad. I mean, it's. I don't want to get taxed to death for nothing, and I can pick whoever I want to go to, and everything's good. And I like having kids is the best thing that ever happened to me. It's one of those kind of deals. Yeah, I don't know, because then you're not just you. I mean, you're living for somebody else, that kind of thing. Because honestly, I'd probably be dead by now if I didn't get married and have kids. Because I wasn't living the greatest life in the world back when I lived in Barrack where I grew up. It was more just alcohol every day. I was drinking fifths of liquor every day. I was depressed without knowing I was depressed. You know what I mean? You just like, well, this is the life here. You just do this. It's what you do, duh. And like, no, that's not what you actually do. Because I got with her and they got married and they moved out to the country, and I didn't tell anybody where I moved. I just moved. You know what I mean? And when I got out in the country in the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden I was like, I don't need to drink. I feel great. What happened? Weird. Teen years, good times. Yeah.
yeah, when you get
no.
teenage girls, you get
Yeah.
teenage
Oh
boys.
yeah. Yeah, and then teenagers. Luckily, my daughter just does not seem to act like that for some reason. Because I told her whole time exactly how she's going to act when she's a teenager. That she's rebelling by not acting like a teenager. I don't know what it is, but I was like, yeah, but a lot of them do seem like they just know everything. You can't tell them anything, and because I was probably like that too. We all were
We're
to
all
a
like
certain
that.
extent. Yeah. No, yeah, everything's going pretty good. Yeah, and the kids are healthy, except the arm's getting better, so things are going good. Do you have any tattoos? I have lots of tattoos. I have like 14 or 15 tattoos. I never wanted tattoos. I lost a bet and I got a tattoo because I lost the bet, even though he knew I was going to lose the bet because he had insider information, which was bullshit. That's bullshit. But I got two tattoos for the first one on both things here. And then the problem is with tattoos, once you get one, you got to get another and another and another and another and another. You know what I mean? But they're expensive too. They get more expensive. Nothing's getting cheaper in the world.
What are the tattoos? If I
Yeah.
can ask, if you're not too rude.
What's your earliest childhood memory? My mom throwing me across the room into the crib like a NBA player. Let's see. What was my earliest childhood memory? Uh, if I really had to say earliest memory that I can remember is I was fishing with my dad at the creek, and I was sitting on the. I mean, it was a pretty high bank. It's like a couple feet down. And I just remember sitting on the bank, fucking around with the sweat bee holes or whatever underneath the bank. And I guess the dirt just kind of like let go, and I went
Yeah.
all the way down the creek and all the way into the water. I'm like, Wah! I remember that. My dad had to go save my ass. So, and then who was your very first crush? My very first crush was actually, I think it was Janine Garofalo. I think it was Janine Garofalo. I have a thing for short, dark-haired women that are pale, thick, and look like a complete cunt. I am just into that. I don't know what it is. It's just, wow, you look like you could ruin my life. Get over here. Something about that. I don't know what it is. Yep.
Yeah, we'll go on to the next one then. What was square scene?
I mean, we all liked Elvira too, but you could just tell she was out of your league because she's Elvira. So those kind of things. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So the thing is, so if I just told my kids they're gonna act like this, they're not. So hey, it's working for me. I don't mind. Yeah, get drunk and break the law, and they'll never do it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, I'm not into tattoos and piercings and stuff like that. But for some reason, I mean, once I lost a bet, once you get one, you kind of get a bunch.
Yeah, same what you said. I
After
don't have
that,
any tattoos.
no, yeah,
No,
once
no,
you do though,
no piercings.
yeah,
Yeah,
once it happens, it for some reason I don't know what it is. Well, that's the other thing is though, like especially once you already have some, and then you're still hanging out with the guys who, work at the tattoo parlor, and you're hanging out there, and they go, "Hey, do you want a free tattoo?" And you're like, "Fuck yeah!" You know what I mean? Like it's because most of the tattoos that I have are free because a lot of people I knew were being apprenticed, and I knew they were really good anyway. Like, well, I got to do apprentice work, so do you want it from free tattoos? I'm like, go to town, buddy. That kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah, and here's the other one. If you have an apprentice doing your shit and you don't know if he's going to be good or not, do it on your back. That way you never see it. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Are you religious? Absolutely not. Am I spiritual? Yes. Do I believe in something? Technically. But it's not a god. It's why I have that Frankenstein theory that that energy cannot be destroyed, just transferred. You know what I mean? That kind of that mentality that we're all kind of something and something. Do I believe in ghosts? I believe in. I believe people see stuff. I don't know what that stuff is. I would almost say it was kind of. It might even be an interdimensional thing that maybe we're the ghost and they see us and we see them and we don't know what the fuck's there and they don't know what the fuck it is. I did see something in my house once that was very confusing. My daughter says there's a person. She called him Jay growing up. Jay. And we found out the guy who built the house and then died there was named John DeWalt. We found that out years later. He said Jay was there, and it was Mom's friend Jay, whatever. And then this Wiccan friend or whatever was over, and she was sleeping in the room, and she's like, "Hey, I saw John last night." And they're like, "What?" She's like, "I saw John last night. She was checking on Morgan, but I said Morgan's okay. She's at her grandpa's house or whatever, and he just disappeared." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "You're crazy." And then one time I was drunk, and my buddy was there, and Morgan was at the house. Morgan, I don't think Rowan was born yet. And my buddy went to bed, and I went to bed after a whole night of metal and drinking, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Morgan was already in bed, and so we went to sleep. And then he went up to bed, and now the door was shut, but I could see the light was a whole light was always on because of Morgan needed a night light, so I could see the shadows of him in front of my door, his feet, his shadows, and you could hear the floor creak. And I'm like, okay. I said, "Hey, your room's over there, asshole. That's not your room, right?" Because my hallway branches off into a couple rooms. And he just
Yeah.
kept standing there and standing there and standing there. And I'm like, okay, angry dad came out. I'm like, I'm going to punch you. What are you standing my kid for? So I opened the door, and there's nobody there. And he has cerebral palsy, so he walks with crutches. He's in bed already snoring. So somebody walked up there and stood there the whole time because I never saw the shadows move. And when I opened the door, nobody was there. And I was like, I got to go to bed. I'll see you. So that was weird. That was weird. I mean, for someone who doesn't, really believe in stuff, that was pretty weird. So that was cool. I didn't see the other end of that comment though. I got to the ghost part.
I think that was it. Was it?
Oh no, it's pretty longer than that. And then, do you believe in aliens? And I guess said like, and are we alone? It says it's problematically impossible that there aren't other life because how many solar systems are there? If you really think about it, every solar system technically should have one planet in each solar system that can sustain life, just like ours. I mean, why wouldn't there be? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, bacteria on an asteroid, technically life. It's one of those kind of deals. And where are we? And I always thought it was really interesting how like we're emanating, like because of how long the sun's light takes to get here. We're seeing old light. That star could be
Yeah.
dead by the time we see it. And anyone in another galaxy is receiving radio waves from us back in the 1800s. You know what I mean? It's weird how that kind of works.
Well, most of the
Um,
stars we see in the nighttime, them stars are not existing anymore.
exactly. That it's just a really weird thought, isn't it? Um, we have a very old building in town, the oldest paper mill in the country. It was built, let's say 1600. That's pretty cool. I mean, and that's the thing is, like, people give America shit for not having a lot of history, but we're one of the youngest countries in the world, and that's not technically our fault. But we really appreciate history. That's why we love Europe. You know what I mean? We like that. We like the history and stuff. We know you already have it. You don't need to make fun of us for not having it, because we appreciate what you have, and we appreciate what we have too. You know what I mean? Gettysburg is a place I take my kids all the time. Very cool place. Definitely haunted as fuck, as far as everyone says. And but no, definitely love. I mean, I loved going to England. I want to hit Ireland because my family came from Kildare, and so I want to go check that area out and stuff. But yeah, definitely love seeing all that stuff. I want to see more and more and more. And I hit Germany too, so it was really cool seeing Roman pillars, and because we went to Thiers and saw that. So I want
Yeah.
to see a lot more stuff. Um, you can see some stuff late nights at the plant. Ooh, that's cool. Now Bigfoot. We ain't talking about Bigfoot. That's where the good shit is. Little
Yeah.
Sasquatch action. Yeah.
Definitely.
Billions of galaxies. It is billions, exactly. Like, it's just problematically impossible there wouldn't be. Um,
Okay.
Whitus. Just learning now about the Whitus. What's the Vetus? I would say, when was the last time you were rejected? Your first car, mobile phone, any pets, petty pet peeves? Oh yeah, what makes you angry? People not obeying simple infrastructure rules, you motherfuckers. Can't do that. You should get shot in the head. Um, let's see. When was the last? I remember that question. I didn't answer. When was the last time you got rejected? I I have been. I'm not really one to get rejected. Usually, when I want to go do something, I do it. That kind of thing. So, like jobs and stuff. Every job I've ever went for, I got that kind of thing. Um, Lately, it's been stuck. It's been rough for me to get jobs, different jobs, because I don't have a college degree. And no matter 20 years of experience and already have a good title, position title under my belt, but to get a equivocal position title, you get denied a lot because you don't have a college degree. So I have been rejected like that. And the
Yeah.
older I've gotten, since I got back into the dating pool, I could not believe, and this isn't making fun of women, but like I've been turned down left and right for the randomest reasons of just, you're not tall enough. You're too tall. You don't. I can't do hair. You don't have enough hair. You don't have too much hair. You're not. You're too thin. You're too fat. You're too this. You're too that. You don't make enough money. You don't make enough money. You don't drive a nice enough car. You don't do that. I'm like, that's cool, man. That's cool. Like, you have two. Like, and these are people that are, you know, don't have any car, don't have any job, have 16 kids, have this, like, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, you have kids, I can't date you. I'm like, you have 5. Like, what the fuck? But it's been weird. It's been a weird little roller coaster. So I got really used to rejection really fucking quickly. Let's just say that. So that is fun. Good
Yeah.
times. First car was a 1987 a light blue Toyota Camry, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I wanted to drill. I couldn't get one at the time because it's easier to get shit now. But I wanted to drill and rivet a big longhorn steer skull to my hood of it for some reason. I always wanted to do that, and I never did, and that makes me sad. I don't know why. This big
Did you
Texas
crash your
Long
first
hood
car?
right on the front of a Camry.
Did you crash your first car? Just to be.
I have crashed every car I've ever owned. I've been in
Okay.
3 major rollovers where I've totaled the car, and I got T-boned once really bad. So yeah, every car that I've ever owned technically has been crashed, where you cannot retrieve it. Like I said, the last car I had was a 2014 Toyota RAV4. I took that off a 50-foot cliff upside down and smashed the passenger roof into the passenger seat, kicked out the windows, and crawled home. Good times. But I said
Okay.
3. That's the last time. That's the last rollover. A 3's good. I did 3. I'm done.
Okay. First phone.
First phone was a. I didn't get a first phone because of my. I got a phone finally because of my job. My job gave me a phone because it's one of those ones where you have 3 different plants you got to take care of, and they call you. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
some kind of Samsung Razor or something like that, or a Tundra. It was something like flippy phone. And then I got an Apple 5 or something. Then finally they gave us iPhones, and then I had an Apple 6 after that, and then I have a Samsung Galaxy 20 now. honestly, cell phones are one of the worst things in the world. They just distract you from everything. You don't get anything done. The internet, the cell phones. I just spent 10 or 12 days here last year with no internet and no cell phone and no kids. Boy, I was a motivated motherfucker. I cleaned the house. I organized shit. I started making music again. It was great. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, life right now, modern life is all about distractions, and that's what cell phones, the internet, and stuff do. But once you have a cell phone, though, it's really hard to give it up. I guess it's one of those kind of deals.
Yeah.
Life without a cell phone. Back in the '90s, fuck yeah.
But then you're less connected. You're, especially if you live in the country.
Yeah,
There's
my
good
internet
things.
shit. Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's nice when you can get a hold of somebody. But now I have kids, too, so I got my daughter a cell phone. Actually, she broke it, so I got to fix it. The battery died. It's not her fault. But now I have a cell phone for her, so I can call her whenever I want to. And I already told her, I said, there's no reason why you don't pick up my phone. When I call, there's no reason. If you don't pick up my phone, I'll be really mad. I'll be really worried and mad. Like, what are you doing? That kind of thing. Drivers not following simple rules on the road, four-way stops. You know what I mean? Like right now, we have a section of road down where I work now that's cut off. The one lane is cut off. They have barricades on it because of traffic. They want you not to use that lane. People are going around the barricades into my lane to come around just to take that lane. I said, every single one of you, they should be a big camera up there giving them $1,000 fine for everybody who does that. You know what I mean? Like, instead of taxing the shit out of people, that's your money right there. Start actually, getting funding from people breaking the law. How about that? You know what I mean? Those kind of things. So, yeah. I'm just a dick. But the problem is that won't even help anything too, because misappropriation of funding is like the number one problem that governments have, like especially simple, like individual state governments and stuff. Money goes where money never should ever go, and no matter how much money they get, they always seem to lose some of it. Had a check turn me down because I was drunk and married. Well, people are fickle. I don't know what to tell you. I have been denied jobs because they said you were too qualified. Yeah, that doesn't mean they actually think you're too qualified.
No, that's just a
No,
polite
I
way
don't.
of saying
That's a way we don't want you. We don't like you. That kind of thing. For some reason, because that doesn't mean you're not qualified. It's just they don't want you. Square. The steers in Texas. Yep, Longhorn. Texas. The only two things in Texas: steers and queers. And I don't see a pair of horns on you, boy. Three's the charm. There you go. My first phone was in 1996. My mom had for her work. She had a cell phone. I remember in the mid 90s, and it had a big bag and a huge battery pack, and like she had to take it with her and shit. It was so fucking funny. Yeah.
how to change sometimes.
Yeah, things have changed. Cellular one. Well, that's the other thing is though, like, it's amazing what we have in our hand now, and it is odd, isn't it? Odd to you that in only like 15 years, technology has seemed to expanded like a million fucking billion times, like in only a short amount of time. 20 years. The technology that we had 20 years ago is so arcane to what we have now, and I don't understand this rapid expansion of technology that just maybe aliens.
Yeah, but once you pump money into, you got so many companies, so many countries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That amount of
Microtechnology.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, the phone in your hand or smartphone is more powerful than the spaceship that went to the moon.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's nuts. Yep.
So
I can't believe I just bought this one cell phone. It was like $900. Crazy stupid.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those I think people view cell phones now as a necessity. I think that's the weird part of the world now, though. Internet, and here the problem is schools are making, if you have children, schools are making internet a necessity, and that's not cool. Because because they do everything on tablets now, and like, oh, if you don't have the internet, you can't get this work done, and this, so you have to get the internet. It's like, ah, damn it, man. Like, because honestly, if I didn't have kids right now, or they didn't need internet, I wouldn't have it at the house, because it is a distraction. Of course, I like to sit there and drink beer and just watch movies all day too, so fuck me. First car was a Chevy Impala, baby. 67. I wouldn't mind getting I would like a, was it 66 Challenger? I'd like to get a Challenger. But my car that I've always wanted, I wanted it, obviously, everybody wanted the E-Type at some point in time. But I always wanted a Triumph TR6. I always thought they were cool. But I think I'd be a little bit too tall for it, so I'd have to wear like a aviator's goggles and a cap when I drove it. But at the same time, it'd be awesome. Or like an MG Sprite would be cool. Yeah.
I'm not a car person. I can't picture them cars. If I won the lotto tomorrow, I couldn't justify spending vast amounts of money on cars.
I would. That's why. I mean, I'm driving a 2004 right now because I just don't want to spend money on what they want to charge on cars. You know what I mean? That's the nice thing is you find some good old cars that you can actually work on. That's not computerized. You still can find them for less than 20,000. You know what I mean? It's like way less than 20,000. So
yeah.
But here's the thing: is like a truck. Like I'd love a brand new truck. I really would. But they want like 80 grand for a truck, and I'm like, you're fucking stupid. What? That's more than my house. What are you fucking talking about?
Buy a truck for 5,000 that is broken and drive it into the ground even more.
Yeah, obviously, like Greg Shark. I mean, like if you would actually just fine people for moving violations, it'd be amazing. And we're not talking. I mean, like it's just and get the thing is, I'm not saying put speed cameras everywhere. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't think that. I think that they should be governed, 10 miles above, and then it goes off, not just like 1 mile like an asshole. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, the speed bans in Ireland they're bans, and they drive around and they're parked in certain locations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're meant to be on a map somewhere. I don't know. So you're meant to kind of know.
I mean, I can do stuff without electricity. I mean, like there's generators and I mean for electricity steaks, but like I have wood stoves and stuff, so we can cook. We've had our power out before for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So you go to the creek, you get water, you flush the toilet, you do this, and honestly, as long as you get like a solar panel pump or a generator, your water will still work, your fridge will still work. You just probably won't be on the internet, and big deal. So it'd be all right. BMW M3. He went full asshole. That's pretty good. Yeah, Datsun, baby. The car, the Japanese Mercedes. Wow, just amazing.
All very rich.
Yeah, used trucks are good. I need a 4-wheel drive. The one that I have right now is a 2-wheel drive, and where I live, it just sometimes doesn't cut it. Usually it does.
I think
here we go.
You didn't go to college.
Did you study in college? Oh yeah. Well, I didn't go to college. What's your dream job? My dream job. Jesus Christ. What's the last lie you told? And what's your most embarrassing moment? And last thing you Googled. Aha, you don't want to know that. I didn't study in college, but I studied for electrical mechanical technician, basically base stuff like that. Put that. Oh yeah, Ford Ranger. Fuck yeah. You want to put the question back up because I forgot the second part of that because I'm really good at forgetting things. Let's see. Oh yeah, what's the dream job? So what's your absolute dream job? What would be my absolute dream job? Wouldn't the answer really be though not having one? Not having a job would be your dream job? Like being being financially successful where you don't have to do that kind of stuff?
Well, in a situation where you have to have a job.
Well, you have to have a job. Like for instance, like I mean,
President of America. There you go.
That's a hard one because I don't like anything. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever just not like shit? I like a lot of stuff, and I don't like anything. Like, here's the idea: is like, I love the idea of having like a zoo, but at the same time, I don't want to clean up animal shit because that's not fun. Uh, I wouldn't mind. I would like to actually have a brewery. Would be fun, but at the same time, then you have to deal with all the litigation. I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved with it being a brewery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's hard work, and people don't think it is, but it is. Uh, Honestly, it would be nice if I could just survive by just showing people how to paint. You know what I mean? Like that'd be fun because I like doing that. And well, wouldn't it be great if we could just do our channels on YouTube and make money off of it and make enough
Yeah,
money to
I think
survive? Wouldn't what we're doing right now be our dream jobs?
it probably would be. If it could pay,
That
yeah.
would be it. This would be our dream job. Yes,
Well,
I'd
you're
like
a
this.
pretty good painter now, to be honest. You're
Thank
putting
you.
yourself. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. So would you like to do that full time if you could make a living out of it?
Oh yeah, I could do that. That'd be all right for me. What's the last lie I ever told? Would probably be say happy to be here. That would be it. Let's see. What was the last lie I told? Oh, technically speaking, last night I told the guy the plant would be up in about 2 hours or 4 hours after a big job, and because we ran into some problems, it turned into 6 hours. So that was a lie.
Okay.
That was a recent one. Yeah, pretty recent one. Um, what's your most embarrassing moment? Now, I'll tell you what. I have been stripped naked in public. I have been in dresses more times than I could tell you. See, embarrassing though. I pulled my dick out apparently on live streams where people keep telling me about that. Apparently, I don't know. I was
Well, if
drunk.
you can't remember, it's not
See,
embarrassing.
none of that I find. I don't find anything embarrassing. I was embarrassed, and I'll tell you this, and this is something that haunts me to this day, and I don't know why it's so embarrassing, but it is to me. We were I feel so bad still. Like it bothers me to this day because I see this woman now and again. It bothers me. I try not to let it bother me. Is I was in the store with my kids one time and we were shopping for presents, and that's what you do. We were
Yeah.
shopping for presents, and there's this woman with the store outfit on, had a big handful of the toys we were looking for, and she's putting them back, and looked like she was putting them on the shelf. And I went, oh my God. And I saw the one she had right there. I said, look at this, look at this. And she's like, oh, sorry, I'm just picking that up for my kid. And I'm like, oh my God. And I gave it back to her because I thought I found it, the one we were looking for. And she's
Okay.
picking it up for her kid. But she had the outfit on, and she looked like she was talking the fucking shelf. And I understand why I made the misapprehension, but it was so embarrassing. Like, it gut-wrenchingly embarrassing for me. And I don't know why it was so embarrassing, but it really was. Just because I don't know, maybe that because I felt like I was demeaning her or whatever, like, oh, you're just working here. I don't know, but something inside me really got embarrassed by that, and I don't know why. But that was my most embarrassing thing, which is not bad
Okay.
at all, honestly. But generally, I don't get embarrassed because
Okay. That's
I
the
don't do
example
I
then.
don't get embarrassed, but I don't do stuff that I regret. So there you go, generally. And last thing you Googled, I can't remember what the last thing I Googled was. Oh, I think it was like I wanted to. Actually, it wasn't something perverted, which I was actually surprised. Like real butt rimming nuns or anything like that.
Okay.
We were talking about. There's a store here called Sheets, and I want to go to Sterling, Virginia, because they made the 666 Sheets store. And I always like to stop whenever I see a Sheets and get a cup of coffee. So I was like, I'm going to go down there and get a cup of coffee. And the guy's trying to argue with me, saying, "Oh, they don't have that many." And I looked it up, and that was probably the last thing I Googled because it was last night. So there you go.
Okay. That's a.
How how would your friends describe you in 3 words? Loud, arrogant, asshole. There you go. What was your hardest goodbye in your life been so far? Um, my wife leaving. It was rough. And then, do you believe in soulmates? Kinda, but they gotta believe in you too. It doesn't work just one way. You know what I mean? Some
Um,
people are made from somebody, but they gotta see it too. So I guess it's one of those things.
Yeah, sorry to all the people. I passed a lot of comments there. I'll come back to them in a second.
Oh no,
I'll
you
try to
can
do
you
my
can
questions. Yeah, and
scroll
for
through.
everyone's
So that's
watching,
fine.
this.
These are crazy questions. They're pretty good.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I'm terrible at missing comments, and I'm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's all right. I mean, if you, yeah, what would you
for
change
people
about
watching, I don't like. I like people commenting, but
if I would tell you, the one thing that I would change about myself is my massive belly. My massive belly that I gained because I'm 100 pounds heavier than I used to be. So I would just get this little guy going down so I could actually see my feet when I look down, that kind of thing. What motivates you to work hard is pride in your work, and then what makes you laugh the most? I laugh at the weirdest things a lot, just dumb, stupid jokes, and the way that people. I don't know. I laugh at shit, and I laugh like a little tiny 9-year-old boy. Apparently, I have the weirdest giggle that just comes out of me when I'm really laughing. I don't even think about it, and that's what I've been told a couple times. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Um, we shoot the shit a lot at work, and we just make these random offhand comments about what topic we're talking about, and sometimes I just laugh my ass off, and like, I'm laughing good if I cry at the same time. If tears are coming down, I did a good one. But yeah, we can catch up with some comments.
let's go back here. I'm terrible at this. I don't know which ones we've done. Let's go.
Oh, they're talking about the yeah, and yeah, that's what she studied in classes. She's a math master, so there you go.
Yeah, and she was in the army, wasn't she, as well? Or Marine?
Yeah, lottery money spender would be a good job. Exactly, it's a good job. Brewer in space. Dun, dun, dun. How do you make it? I was gonna say you have to use electric though. You can't make the no air for the burners to work.
Yeah.
Pilot. I always wanted to be a pilot. I like it. I wanted to get my pilot's license. I can't afford a plane though, so there's no point. No point. Love flying. Oh yeah, you have your pilot's license. That's awesome. I know you can get those little ultralights that you can fly around and stuff. That seemed like a very interesting thing to do. And you teach math. There you go. 1 + 1 is 5. Okay. You and what did it do?
Service isn't going to show that. Structural engineering. There we go.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, who the hell was talking so loud? I guess there's something over there. You guys talking on a loudspeaker. The middle school's over that way. I guess they're having some kind of event. Loving the stream. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining for sure. Aluminum waterproof containers is the last Google. Well, there you go.
And why did you Google
aluminium? Aluminium, baby.
That sounds something dodgy though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two girls, one aluminium waterproof container. There you go. That's a hell of a Google.
To be arranged. The interviews are to be arranged.
Yeah, to be arranged. Yeah, I would definitely lose weight and make my cock a lot bigger. So there you go. 2 things. Let's see. Same here. And solutions to medical problems is always definitely something. It's something I worry about now, getting older and stuff. My heart getting heart attacky and all that stuff from drinking, gallons of butter and eating pounds of bacon every day. Who would you? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. For breakfast, you asked. I love a big country scrambler, where it's just the fried potatoes with the cheese and the sausage and scrapple and all this stuff. When I was in England, I had full English breakfast, and it was absolutely amazing. But I would take away the beans and the tomatoes because I'm not into that, and I'd add extra mushrooms, extra white and black pudding, and then extra haggis, or add a haggis to it. It was amazing.
Well, that's if you had haggis with it, that's a Scottish food.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I love it. Who you be stranded on the? Who would you want to be stranded with on a desert island? Well, I think that would be one of those questions where it would change as I go along. Of that what would you eat for your last meal kind of deal. Whoever that would be, who I'd like to be on the desert island with,
But
so
who
we
would
can
that be
propagate.
at this moment in time? Who would that
Right
be?
now, I think it would still be Sarah Brightman. Be all right. Still be okay with that. She could sing to me, and we could fornicate, and she's still pretty enough. That's good. Um, well, I guess yeah. If you just want to enjoy yourself on a desert island, there you go. It's one of those kind of deals. I don't really have a crush on anybody or anything like that of the right now to say anybody, because I usually focus on, like, the older times, older films, older this, older, like Helga Linnea and Kelly Monroe and all these things, that kind of stuff. I mean, even the stuff from the '80s, like Michelle Bauer and stuff like that. So you don't have anybody right now that I can think of off the top of my head of newer things. I mean, there you go.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. What's your favorite family tradition? Not seeing each other. And what is your favorite childhood memory? Leaving the house. Let's just see. My favorite. What's your favorite childhood memory? Memories. What would be my favorite childhood memory? Well, my family tradition. We just see each other during the holidays, basically. That's pretty much it. I try to take my kids now, though. I started doing a thing where every Halloween, near the Halloween, I get a bunch of pumpkins together. We just get everybody at the house, and we'll carve pumpkins, like the niece and nephew and stuff like that. I buy a bunch of pumpkins and we carve them. Very childhood memory is, I still remember. I think one thing that it touches a lot of kids that you can always remember is sneaking out of bed and looking through the little window there and seeing my parents put the presents under the Christmas tree and stuff like that. You could remember seeing all that stuff growing up, and it was still nice to think about those kind of memories, those kind of childhood memories. It's pretty nice. So it's
Okay.
like, yep.
Did you have any nicknames then when you were younger, or do you have any nicknames now?
Actually, well, my one was teeth, because my teeth are so damn big, I guess, in proportional to my face. When I was a younger guy, some of the ruffians that I hung out with called me Spikes for a while, because I guess my hair at the time. At work, they called me Sasquatch for a while. They called me a lot of things at Sasquatch, or at work. They called me. I had a MASH hat that I used to wear, and I was growing my beard out the one time. They called me Castro for a while. But I mean, I've had a couple different nicknames over that. Nothing too crazy, nothing that really stuck for too long. I mean, like Squatch did for 10 years at work, but uh, asshole seems to be the one that stuck with me the longest. There you go. So my brothers and I toboggan and through the woods. Well, there you go, without killing anybody or yourself. So that's good. Don't pull a Sonny Ono and just right into a Sonny Ono or whatever the fuck it was, and they hit the tree. Sonny and Cher. Don't do that. Not good for you.
Yeah, there we go.
The craziest thing I've done in the name of love. I took a multi-$1,000 trip across America just to see someone for a day. That'd be the craziest. Yeah.
Were you young when you did this, or?
No. I was in my 30s. It was one of those. Because I'm just an idiot. I think we have to understand that I'm very stupid. And when you're trying to get over, like I said before, like when you're trying to get over things and you have a misappropriation of emotions, you put a lot of shit into some people that don't deserve it, and you'll do a lot of crazy things to just do stuff. You know what I mean? And that was definitely one of them. That was like, and I think I was drunk too. That was the thing, is I booked this huge trip, and I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked at my phone and go, wow, what did I do? And then I realized I don't even have the time to do that, and I had to book it down. So I still went anyway. But it was fun. It was great. Good times. I tell you what, like I love visiting the West Coast. Montana was beautiful. I mean, and then through Portland, through Seattle, it's awesome. Puget Sound, so cool. I broke my tailbone twice, and it sucks. I did that when we were doing some backyard wrestling, and the guy fucking spine busted me on a piece of wood. Then I fell out of a fucking tree. It sucks.
Yeah.
Can't sit down right for a long time.
Haven't broken my tailbone yet. Hopefully I
Don't do
won't.
it.
I broke
Yeah.
my arms. I broke a leg.
Yeah,
Not
well,
much
that's
now.
good. Well, you broke some things, so that's good. You got them off the list. Don't break anymore. Especially when you get older. Like I couldn't do the shit that I used to do when I was a kid. I'd die. Like everything. Like if I just watch some of the stuff that I did when I was younger, I just feel like every single one of my ligaments just breaking away from my bones, and I fall in a pile of rubble. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do that stuff now. I think because I used to take back bumps off. We used to screw around and go through tables and do all this weird stuff. And now, if I just fall over, I'm dead. I'm done for a whole day. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, I fell. Oh, help me. I have 5 states left to visit. Yeah, that's the thing is like I have a couple under my belt, but not many. Most of the ones on the East Coast I have done. Uh, the Northwest Coast, I got most of those now. Uh, it's just a lot of that central, south central that I gotta kind of hit. So southeast, southwest, and stuff like that. Been to Arizona, but that's the south. But I was only there for a connecting flight, so I don't even know if that counts.
So
So you're like that bionic woman, so that's cool.
what advice would you give me then if I was visiting the States? Where would you point me out to go? I've gone to the United States. Where should I visit?
Okay. The one that I would be able to tell you the most about is Pennsylvania, obviously.
Yeah.
I love Pennsylvania. Stay away from Philly. Stay away from Philly. It's a garbage dump hole. And Reading and Harrisburg, pretty much dump holes. The one I think I try to tell people about Pennsylvania is stay above Route 80 that runs Center State. I said stay above Route 80 and away from cities, and you'll see amazing shit. The only thing like when I go down to Ohio State Park and Gettysburg and parts of Pittsburgh are still nice. Those are like the rare occasions you want to go south of 80, but we have a lot of beautiful stuff here. Visiting America, it's one of those ones where it depends on what you like. You know what I mean? Like it's if you want that American experience. Like for instance, if you want to see America, you don't go to New York City. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't show you anything. If you want to see Germany, you don't go to Berlin. You don't go to Frankfurt. You know what I mean? Like because that doesn't show you anything. That just shows you some kind of fabricated existence for tourists, not not Germany or not. That's the thing is. Now I don't know about Dublin or whatever. Like you almost see Ireland. You don't go to Dublin. That kind of. I'm not sure if that's that's true case
Well,
or
you
not.
don't go to Temple Bar. Temple Bar is kind of an area in Dublin where a lot of tourists go to, especially
Exactly.
you don't go
Yeah.
to Temple Bar. But,
exactly. That's how I
yeah.
look at it. If you want to go anywhere and you want to see it, go the fuck away from any city. Get out, and I'll tell you what, this is a tip and a trick that is amazing for me. Is meet somebody online, form a friendship, and then go visit them because they know where to go and they know how to, talk the language, do whatever they, drive the roads. Don't do it yourself. Do it. I'm so happy that I have friends everywhere that when I went to Germany, he like showed me around and stuff like that because it's just such a better experience.
Yeah, because you can do research, but locals know best. Kind of, you're going to get local prices.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's kind of like the same thing. Like if you want to go to Europe, he said go see the national parks, and yes, absolutely, go see the redwoods, the sequoias, and stuff like that. But don't get watch your seasons and don't get wrapped up in the tourist side of things. Like in Europe, don't go see the castles because there are cool castles you can see, but then there's also castles you'll stand in line all day, spend an enormous amount of money. You know what I mean? Like so, you got to know where to go and where not to go, and what season to go to.
There's many castles around. You can walk over. There's one over a couple miles over the road, in the middle of the field.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing is like we went to when we were in Germany, we went to the Frauenberg Castle. You could just drive right up to it. Look, it's a castle. You know what I mean? You didn't have to stand in line and pay money and bullshit like that. But no, traveling is just amazing. And the one thing that I could tell, remember you saying about my 16-year-old self is As soon as you hit 18, get a real job. Well, I had a real job then anyway, but like save money and start traveling because the world is an amazing place. You know, that's something that
Yeah.
you don't, when you're younger too, some people like me was like afraid of traveling. Like I didn't want to go to visit. I mean, going to Philly for a show seemed like a long trip. Now I just go to Philly to hit the airport to go to fucking Germany or, UK. It's the world's not that big. It's a small place. Go see it.
Yeah, most people are decent and will help you out if you're in trouble, especially if you're a tourist. Most.
Yeah.
Biggest life lesson then?
Self lesson. See, I don't learn lessons very well. That's my problem. My thing would be, I'll tell you what, the one thing about lessons that I learned is it was just as soon as I took the first trip in 2010, like a light bulb switched about how, like I said before, the world is not a big place. It's a small place and it's full of awesomeness, and go see it. And that's why I regretted not traveling sooner. The biggest thing about me, I've learned over life and just being older, is moderation. Moderate everything. Everything in your life has to be moderated. Moderation is the key to everything. Not too much of this, not too much of that. Not being extremist in any side is not a good thing. And it's one of those ones that you have to learn over time. Because when you're young, you're extreme about everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what it is, that's moderation. But that's also getting older because your body can't handle that shit. So no matter what it is, whatever topic we're talking about, moderation is the key. And everything is ambiguous. See things from different sides. Don't just be all pig-headed.
I suppose this is a so-called beer channel. What is your favorite brewery? If I have to ask, what's your go-to brewery?
My go-to brewery right now I go to it all the time, is New Trail. Local, pushing out fresh shit, usually pretty okay. New Trail Brewing Company, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Just all the time, go to it. It used to be different. Like, it used to be Lagunitas IPA. I just never problem. By case, no problem. I've kind of stayed away from them because New Trail is obviously always giving you new shit. Right now for me, because it's local to New Trail Brewing Company, if I could, I would go JW Lee's. If I could buy it, I would. I buy JW Lee's shit all the time if I could buy it, but I can't. It's one of those kind of deals. Because obviously a go-to brewing company, if you have the ability to get it, you'd probably go to different ones. You know what I mean? Because if I had JW Lee's, is definitely a prime example of something I wouldn't mind drinking all the time. But I can't get it here. I can only get that rare bottle up in Exeter where it's like I got lucky in 2001. I got a 2001 750 of a Harvest Ale for like $15. I can't complain. But like another one, Fuller's Smith and Turner was one that I would love to drink all the time back in the day. Now they changed a lot since different brewmasters and stuff. But for right now, if I have to say a local brewery that I do buy quite often, would be New Trail Brewing Company.
Favorite style?
Favorite style is goddamn Imperial Stouts. Plus 10% Imperial Stouts all day long.
If you had to get rid of one style of beer, what style of beer would you get rid of?
Oh, see, the thing is style. God. Category would be the word.
Category,
Sours. Fuck you. But I'll tell you what, one style of beer that I would love to get away to get. So right now, because of just people being inundated with it, with the hate, people could say like hazy New England style IPAs, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. But the thing that really bothers me is just like, I'll tell you one little bastard of a style I cannot stand is saisons. Those goddamn. I understand French workers have to drink too, but goddamn it, I hate saisons.
Okay.
I know there's lambics and there's so many different styles out there, but like I am not a general appreciator of the sour style farmhouse style. as a whole. But at the same time, I was gonna say you'll make a lot of people in America for sure, whiskey drinkers or vodka drinkers if you got rid of the macro lager style. Like get rid of that fucking swill, and then everybody would start drinking liquor or be forced to drink craft beer. But yeah, as a craft beer channel, I'll just use the word farmhouse ales. Let's just say that farmhouse ales. We'll get rid of that. I could live without that.
Most overrated beer. Is there some beer that is overhyped?
Yes. I would say, because I've drank them now, beer, not style maybe, but just like brewery, Cantillon. Don't see the hype at all. Nothing about them. I drink it. Nothing. It's just garbage. It might not be garbage. It's just not wonderful. It's not like, oh my god, I had a Cantillon. I can feel my tits growing. Like, there's nothing like that going on. It's just there it is.
Brewery to watch. What brewery should I be looking out for? Not that we'll probably make it over here, but what brewery should I?
A brewery that. Oh well, I'll tell you what. If I have to give anybody a shout out for a brewery right now, and boy, that nut is not where it should be. There it goes. If I have to do a shout out to a brewery that everyone should look out for, and I've only heard one bad thing about one beer, and that was from Adam, and he knows what he's talking about too. But everything from Poljala is amazing, from Estonia, and you might see that where you are too. You know what I mean? Because it's pretty pushed well. But god damn, they make some amazing dark beers. They are awesome. I'll tell you what, they are great, and they're a newer brewery from Estonia, from Tallinn, and they're pushing stuff out, and the prices are reasonable, and the ABVs are up there too, which I like, and the quality is there. And it's baby, they are kicking the hell out of, like, how we always are about Tuol and Omnipollo and McKellar and all the, Poljala is just sweeping the table of those guys.
Okay, wants to kind of wrap this up then, because we're keeping you about 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I gotta get to work anyway, so that works out perfect.
What's your words of wisdom for everyone who is watching?
Don't watch my channel. Yeah, I was gonna say, remember, beer doesn't show its true character until it gets to room temperature. So don't lie to yourself. If you only drink it cold, it's probably because it's shit beer.
Yeah.
There you go. Ta-da!
Okay.
Thanks, folks.
Everyone who has watched, I would like to say thank you. Everyone who has commented,
thank you very much.
Thank you. I would like to say a big thank you to this person. If I can get him on full screen.
Hello! And my headphones blasted, so that works great.
So, and we will kind of exit from full screen. Let's go back to here.
There you go.
Yeah. And we will say
I got a lot grayer over the years, so yeah. But thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And
cheers, everybody.
See you, everyone.